29-year-old Nicholas Ball was found dead in Langley in March 2022 in an area now under redevelopment. Jason Griffiths, originally charged with second-degree murder but convicted of manslaughter, was sentenced to 5 years in prison Friday. With credit for pretrial time spent in custody, Griffiths will serve 28 months.
This was just a tragic case. It did not need to happen.
Court heard Ball was shot in the torso with a crossbow during an argument with Griffiths, who was living in a tent in the vacant lot. Griffiths removed the crossbow bolt from Ball and disposed of his body in the trash before using drugs with a friend. He called 911 the next morning.
He ended up on the drugs like everyone else. He ended up homeless like everyone else, and ugly things happen at night.
They knew each other. They were not strangers. It was unfortunate that they got into the argument that they did. The argument turned into threats. There had been threats from Mr. Ball to Mr. Griffiths in the preceding days. It escalated that night.
Griffiths, now 42, has no prior criminal record. Court heard he was prescribed painkillers after a 2006 motorcycle accident, later turning to fentanyl and meth. Justice Michael Tammen said Griffiths' actions were not reasonable in defending himself, but there was reasonable doubt he had the necessary intent for murder.
This was near self-defense. Mr. Griffiths was not trying to kill anyone. He was not trying to harm anyone that night.
Friends of the victim want the public to know how special he was. Nick was not a perfect person, but nobody is, and that's what made him human. He genuinely cared about so many people. Michelle Raymond says she understands the need for rehabilitation, but feels it's been demonstrated with the offender that there is very little desire to commit to such. Griffiths is accused of breaching his release order twice earlier this year.
If anything, at least we can make sure he stays off the drugs this time.
Kristen Robinson, Global News.